Hello YouTube, it's Most Wanted here. This is not another episode of my Feed the Beast series or even one of my custom map things. Or This is a custom map I'm doing with a group of guys. I thought it was a cool idea, a capture the flag kind of map. It's going to be a custom mod pack. It's going to be basic Minecraft. I think 1.5. See, what is this? 1.5.2 with like really minor list of add-ons. I think wireless redstone has been added. Um, and there'll be bases that you'll start out with beds that are available to your teammates. And you'll run around trying to kill the other team. You can invade the other players' bases, but we also want certain types of capture locations. We still aren't really sure which ones we want to do, but this was my idea right here. Um, Counter, capture flag kind of instantly made me think of capture the flag. Well, no, capture flag instantly made me think of Counter Strike. So you got terrorists versus counter terrorists, and I sort of declare this room for either a base or a capture the flag point, and I just threw a quarry down, and it just made this really deep shaft that instantly made me think of kind of like a missile silo. So this is like a cool missile silo. This, like I said, this is a default Minecraft. I didn't even bother to put a texture pack in. So this is default textures and more or less a default Minecraft map. So just got a little bit of Buildcraft. I think we got wireless redstone. Not much more to this. So I wanted to have a location where players have to continually visit, maybe even potentially fight over the area. So we're thinking about putting up a computer somewhere in the room to handle the fueling and unfueling of the missile. So here's our tanks. I think we want to try and keep the tanks visible, but also we have another indicator here of the status of the missile. How fueled is the missile? So we're going to end up doing this by computer, but right now we've got some levers. So that would begin the fueling process, and the fuel will drain out of the tank and into a set of tanks that are underneath the missile. Although it's supposed to in visually, it's supposed to look like it's fueling the missile itself, and there's tanks inside. But of course, there are no tanks. Wouldn't be room for the indicators and everything else that we'd want to do. So we got 5 tanks on the wall, 5 indicators for 5 tanks being full, and the first indicator actually takes quite a while to flip on, but the other ones kind of follow suit in order, not too far apart after the first one's full. And kind of the reason why is just because of the reason why the way the Buildcraft pipes work. So we have fuel coming. Oh, I forgot to turn off the other lever. This is going to be run by a computer, so it's either going to be one stage or the other. Oh no, wait. Okay, that's fine, I guess. So it's either going to be fueling or it's going to be unfueling, and it shouldn't ever be doing both at the same time. So right now we're in the fueling, so we've got fuel coming down and attempting to fill these tanks. And it's always going to attempt to fill all the tanks, but most of it's going to go in the first, a little bit less is going to go in the second, a little bit less is going to go in the third, less is going to be fourth, and the least amount. So we haven't even had anything come into these yet. But they won't, fill this one 100% before it starts to fill the next one. And I don't think there's any way to make that happen. Something that would sit in the pipe and stop stuff from flowing until it received a redstone signal. So we're kind of just using this method to fill the tanks. The first one's always going to fill first, but since we're bleeding off a little bit of the output to the other tanks, it does take a while for the first one to fill. But as soon as the first one's full, then the other ones follow suit right afterwards. The unfueling process. Well, let me continue the fueling process. So as the first tank fills, we've got a gate here that senses it being full, and it sends a redstone signal to a wireless transmitter, and that goes straight upstairs to where you saw that row of indicators. So the redstone, wireless redstone fires off over here and is received over here. And as soon as tank 1 is full, it'll send a signal, and there's a receiver behind this lamp, and the lamp will light when tank 1 is full. And then, consecutively as the tanks fill, the lamps will turn on. It just as a visual indicator. Just as this guy is a visual indicator, that one is as well. Although this one will totally be empty before the last tank is full. Okay, so the unfueling process. Wow. Okay. So the unfueling process will send a redstone signal and will immediately begin unfueling. So the first lamp will go off almost immediately as the first tank begins, well, tank 5 begins to empty. So it's going to begin to empty in the reverse order that it gets filled in. So tank 5 is now emptying, and through the use of the right sequence of gates, here we have a gold AND gate that's an Antarctic gate. It receives a redstone signal, and it pulses when it receives that signal. But at the same time, if it receives a redstone signal and at the same time the tank is empty, it'll also send a red pipe signal. And that's just being routed up. Oh, shoot. Oh, damn. That was not good. Fix that real quick. There was a tank here somewhere. Oopsie. My bad. Gate. That one. Nope, not that one. That one. There we go. Put that puppy back in. Redstone signal. Pulse. And then we want to say, if we have a redstone signal and the tank is empty, send us a... Oh, I gotta put the pipe back on. Which one's this one? Okay, so it's a red. Okay, so we should do red. Okay. So if the tank is empty and redstone signal, it's going to go ahead and light up the red pipe signal. So we got just a little bit of fuel left. I'm not sure how. Must have been some fuel in the pipe still. So I'll have to top the fuel up again when it's all full. But so we've got a little bit of fuel left, and boom, red pipe lit up. And now this guy is set up, if it sees red pipe, to start pulsing. And if it has both the red pipe and this tank is empty, it'll send a blue pipe signal. And then same thing here. So if it sees a blue, it'll start pulsing. If it has blue and tank empty, it'll send a red, and there's the red right there. And it just kind of repeats on down. And our indicators are still going to indicate if it's full, it'll send redstone. If not, it'll empty. So the lights will go off in the same order as in the opposite order they went on. So now we're reversing the fueling process. All the fuel is being pumped back into our Buildcraft tanks that are out there as a process of unfueling our missile. So I thought that was pretty cool. Some of the guys that took over when I left had moved this tank setup down here, but they weren't quite sure how to get it done. I saw some pipe wire here, and these were originally stone pipes. I upgraded them to gold, and I hooked up the gates. They just had regular Antarctic gates, and everything was emptying at the same time. All the lamps were going out, and these things were emptying super fast, way faster than we wanted the fueling process and the unfueling process to take roughly the same amount of time. We don't want the unfueling process to be 5 times faster. It wouldn't be fair. So now the fueling process and the unfueling process should take roughly the same amount of time, because there's only one gate that's ever unfueling at once down here, and there's only one gate upstairs that's fueling. So it should only it should take roughly the same amount of time. So that's the setup. It's pretty cool. I wanted to make sure I showed you the unfueling process. Um, and then as soon as the last tank is full, I'm thinking we'll probably line the walls and other places. We'll hide TNT and we'll set that off when the all the tanks are full in kind of a sequential order from the base all the way up to the roof, and then maybe also down the hallways, just to simulate a launch, of just the fireball that comes out of the bottom of the rocket, filling the void and launching. It would be cool to have just a big, huge door open, but that's really not realistic enough. It's not going to be available. I don't think we're going to have the ability with this map to do any like large frame doors or anything like that would open up. We'll just have to pretend the door opens. I was also thinking of just a nuke, just an underground nuke blowing up an underground nuke, but the idea of a missile is pretty cool, I think. It gives a kind of a timer you can't get around, but you could also reverse, rather than just a timer that counts down. Then you stop the timer, and then you have to start the timer over again. This is the fueling process can okay, our first tank is full. So the process is a little bit longer. It's a little bit more laborious. It is more visual, and it's something that's not a 5-minute countdown. That's kind of boring. It's a fueling process that would give you a bit more time to react and respond to it. So tank 2 is full, and these tanks will kind of light in sequence. Relatively the time it takes for tank 2 to light after tank 1 is roughly the same amount of time it takes for tank 3 to fill after tank 2 is full. But it does take a while for that first tank to fill up. And then the teams will just fight over hacking a computer or two that are in the room to start and stop the sequence. The rest of it's going to be this Minecraft tunnel that'll have cool hidden places inside it, and then of course the 2 or 3 team bases that the other team will be able to infiltrate to a point. I don't think we'll infiltrate it to a point where they can remove the beds that will be the spawn points, but potentially maybe they could even do that. They could remove the spawn points of the other team, forcing them to spawn back at spawn. And of course, since this is going to be pretty close to vanilla with not too many mods added to it, you won't have access to a map. So, and of course you'll have to try and get back here manually, which really isn't going to work too well. I don't think we'll do anything like give the ability for people to pick up beds and move them. That would kind of be cheating, because you could potentially hide your bed somewhere, or allow them to break glass or anything like that to break the fueling system, because you'd want that to continue regardless. But it's a cool point for the capture the flag. I could think potentially some other areas that could also be a part of the fueling. Like we could have a control room that they would have to control before they can get the fueling process started. The terrorists would have to take care of. They'd have to take over that area as well, and that would be closer to the counter-terrorists' base. They would have to take care of that, and before they could start the fueling process. And some other points along the base, maybe something like a gunnery or something like that. These are all just ideas I'm throwing out. We haven't even started yet. This is kind of the first, outside of the base, basic base setup. It's the first thing that we've done that's been a part of the map. My idea too. That's pretty cool. So I just wanted to show you this cool idea for a capture the flag point, and let you know that when the map becomes available, I'll go ahead and add it to the description. Although I don't expect from the time of this recording, probably a week and change, the guys that are on this don't have a whole lot of time outside of school to play around with this, and you know, I've got a bit more time than they do for the inputs and ideas and stuff, but I can't do the computer craft stuff. I could do the real basic Buildcraft 3 stuff when it comes to wireless redstone and pipes and gates and stuff, but it'll be up to them to do the computer craft and stuff. There was also, I think, a mini game we had brainstormed that will allow the players to control a robot. You take the robot through the course, then the robot will put something in an ender chest where it's at that you'll have to control remotely, and then when it puts something in the ender chest, then it'll appear in an ender chest near the controls for the robot, and you'll be able to get it. So it's a cool idea. That's kind of, the area is already kind of done for it, but the controls and all that stuff haven't been done yet. So yeah, it's been about 12 minutes, so I'll go ahead and end the video here. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or ideas for this map, please leave it in the description. And when the map is done, I'll make sure to put that in the description as well. Thanks.